Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we're here with more iRacing. This time around we're here with the Toyota GR86. Yes, the third and probably most forgotten about car of the all-new iRacing content. It's certainly not quite up there with, you've got a Mercedes Formula 1 car, you've got the next generation of Le Mans prototypes, and you've got, this basic little Toyota GR86, bless it. I think this one is probably actually going to be the best car for racing with on the sim. I think the BMW as well is going to be very, very good fun, but probably for me, this will end up being the car accidentally that I do a fair amount of racing. And of course, if you missed out those two videos that went live over the last couple of days, I would highly recommend going back and checking them out. But yeah, really not too sure, honestly, what to expect with this car today. Now, originally, when I saw this announced, I just assumed it was a GT4 car. I don't actually think that is the case with this thing, and to be honest with how slow it feels down in towards turn 1, I'm not convinced it is a GT4 car there. That was kind of what I initially thought when I saw this car was announced. It wouldn't surprise me if we get a GT4 variant in the very near future. 2023 Season 2 is probably when it would be likely to come around. Once you've sort of got the base car built in, then you can really just implement it sort of on top of it, if you will. But I thought as well, we come back to Sebring today because it's a track with a major overhaul ready for the new season. So kind of new content, kind of not, all at the same time. Of course, it's still the classic Sebring that we all know and love, but yeah, with a major update to it that already, I can tell, looks very, very nice in comparison. But yeah, this GR86, honestly, I don't really know a huge amount about it. It's got traction control, it's got ABS, as you would come to expect from a little pocket sort of race car. I'm guessing it's kind of just designed, maybe it'll go in with the, like, Raw before the 24 cars, those sorts of things. So, it'll be like a multi-class with the MX-5s, with your Mustangs, that sort of thing. It is just meant to be, slow, honest, low-end racing. And I think that's quite important as well, that iRacing doesn't lose touch with these sorts of things. Because, having Mercedes' latest and not quite greatest Formula 1 car in the sim is all well and good. But honestly, for a lot of people, GT3 cars for many are kind of the quickest you want to go. Some people love racing the MX-5s. I mean, the Skip Barbers have been popular for so many years on the sim, and they're obviously pretty slow on the open wheel calendar. A lot of people just like cars, easier cars to drive, generally create better driving. And so far, this thing seems to handle very, very nicely around this circuit as we try and head out on towards the final corner, down in towards Sunset. I mean, it's just, very sort of basic little go-around car, I suppose. And like I said, I think that'll probably end up meaning that I drive this thing more than most of the others on the sim. I'm guessing it's got about 200 brake horsepower, just over, there or thereabouts. Of course, got to be really, really careful under big braking then with any sort of steering input, as it will try to rotate round on me. But over the bumps through Sunset we go, and I must admit, like I said, the new update to Sebring as well, looking absolutely fantastic. It desperately needed a bit of an overhaul for how popular a track it is on the sim. It was, looking a little bit derelict, like it kind of been abandoned 10 years ago, which I think is roughly when the track was originally sort of scanned and built and developed on the sim. But through turn 1 then for the first time with some anger there, just about getting the car roughly where I need it. It's very, very good on the brakes there, nice and stable, of course, with the exception of Sunset. But I think that was, I was trying to tip it in through the corner as well a bit too much. And definitely feel like you can attack the curbs in this thing. It will move around quite a bit underneath you, but you do get fantastic feedback through it as well. It won't, it's not suddenly going to rotate around on you or anything like that, I don't think. I'm a fan of the dash. It's little things like that that do make a big difference in these cars there. I'm a fan of the little telemetry you get as well. I always think it's quite important to have that. It's probably, to be honest, I actually disable the iRacing one. So that's going to be my first 1X. Because normally I just end up spending far too much time looking at the dash rather than looking at where I'm going. But there we are. It's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But yeah, I think, like I said, this thing's probably like a step up from the MX-5s. If it's going to be sort of a solo series, I'd imagine it will just be D-license. Is, sort of the next step up in the road cars from the Mazda. To be honest, it does actually drive. It feels sort of quite like the Mazda in the way it's, very, very nice over the curbs. Things like that. The Mazda occasionally could be quite sensitive. But of course, in these slower cars, everyone is trying to get absolutely everything out of them. And, you can push closer and closer to the limit. But that also means, if it goes wrong, it's going to go disastrously wrong. Whereas, you know, as it's a slower car, more people are going to be able to get 95% out of it as well at the end of the day. But braking zones feel sort of fairly sensible. You know, it doesn't feel like I'm having to brake massively early into the corners. You know, sort of my general baselines on iRacing for sort of braking points are normally the GT3 cars, sort of where I would expect them to brake, especially around a track like this, you know, where I've done quite a lot of GT3 racing in the past as well, of course, on the sim. But can we try and nail Sunset then this time around as we head in towards the final couple of corners? Must also add, big fan of the steering wheel on this thing as well. I know I'm running an open Formula rim still as well. I don't want second gear in through there. The gear ratios are fairly short on this car, as you would expect. It does rev, though, quite nicely. I'm not 100% sure. I want to say that's 9,000 or 8,000 even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,000. Sorry, 8,000 is completely the red line there. It's 2:29. Not a bad lap time around Sebring. Of course, we'll go for a couple more, and then I'll give you guys sort of a lap in anger with some audio from the car. But it just feels like a good, honest, fun little race car. And honestly, you know, I was not looking forward to this thing in comparison to the BMW and the Mercedes. But like I said, this will more than likely end up being the car I actually do a fair bit of racing in. Like I said, I'm expecting it to slot in probably sort of around, you know, I'm trying to remember the name of the racing series that iRacing do, you know, with the MX-5s, obviously with the Mustangs, there's Pontiac Slow Stis as well, of course. Maybe this thing, yeah, it will be quicker than the Slow Stis. Actually wouldn't be surprised if it's not far away from the Mustang, to be honest, because it is very good through the corners. There's a little bit of understeer that time around to try and get it tipped through the hairpin there, and that's going to compromise me on the exit. But yeah, I'll be honest, I'm pleasantly surprised by this car. It does feel very good fun, light and nimble, which is what you want from your little pocket race car. You know, it is sort of very much, you know, your kind of race car that you would buy. You know, you have a go with it on iRacing, and if you've got a little bit of spare pocket money, you know, you might go out and think, maybe, just maybe, I can get into GR86 racing down the line. It's just a thought. If anyone out there's thinking about it, please let me know how you get on as well. But yeah, let's just finish off this lap then around Sebring, and then I'll try and go for something a bit more attacking. Also, must say, I am quite a big fan of the sound. It sounds quite good for I'm pretty certain these are 4-cylinder, aren't they? So it does sound, yeah, like it might be 6-cylinder, actually, no. So I think, you know, I'm pretty certain this is a 4-cylinder car from Toyota. Also the first Toyota actually in iRacing as well, which I was quite surprised by. Like I said, I think, you know, Toyota generally are pretty much in bed with Gran Turismo still, so I don't think we're going to see many come to the sim anytime soon. You know, it would always been quite nice to get some of the LMP1 cars back to go up against the Porsche and the Audi, but it is what it is. You know, there's always deals going on sort of here, there and everywhere in the world of sim racing. But yeah, let's go for an attacking lap then here around Sebring with the Toyota GR86. And note as well, it's the first car this week that I haven't binned at some point during the session. I'm sure I'm about to jinx myself, but we'll see what sort of time we can get. There we go, then round in the final corner. We're going to find about 8 tenths over the last lap that I did, which, you know what, I'll absolutely take there in the GR86. And I forgot to mention the most important thing about this car. If you've already got iRacing, it's completely free, so you cannot go wrong with that. And it might therefore even be a rookie car as well. But yeah, let me know whether you guys have given this car a go on the sim so far. Let me know your thoughts and feelings about it. Pleasantly surprised, I think, is generally my takeaway from this. I'm a big fan of this car, and I will probably do some racing with it over the course of 2023 Season 1. But thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. Tomorrow, we are taking the W13 around the Nordschleife, so you guys don't want to miss that. And yeah, make sure you return very soon for more sim racing related content.